Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Eric Kenyon, also known as Regular Joe, and this is Coffee with Great Wealth Strategies. Got my cup of Daily Joe and ready to fill yours up. It's kind of interesting. We're going to talk. This is part two of the U.S. dollar. We discussed part one on the 22nd, just a couple days ago, and so I've got some more to talk about. But what's interesting is, as we look at the market, we look at housing, and we look at the paper, we look at the TV, we look at what's going on, and you hear all this good news. You just hear all this wonderful stuff, and it's all this fluff, and it's starting to honestly kind of scare me a little bit because I just don't think everybody's getting the right information, and so we're going to jump back into the dollar here, and what are the modern threats and the concerns? Because we talked about the German mark and how that was, and how the global marketplace was back then, and what are the real potential threats to the American currency that could create problems for both investors and average citizens here today, right now in 2013. So, our last piece we touched upon some of the history of the currency volatility and how it can and how certain cases like go back to the Weimar Republic, economic collapse in the 1920s, a form of money can become virtually, absolutely, completely unusable. While the US dollar holds a different position than the German mark once did in the global marketplace, there are some very huge potential threats to the American currency that could create problems for both investors and average citizens. Now, one of the things that has protected the US dollar for so long is its place as what's called the petrodollar, where it has been held as a world reserve currency. We'll get to that here. So, a policy paper published by the U.S. Federal Reserve in January of 2010 acknowledged that the dollar's role in worldwide finance is actually shifting. The central bank highlighted the ascendancy of the euro and the Chinese yuan during the past 15 years, a force that could replace the dollar as the most widely used currency. And little does anybody know, and we'll jump a little tangent here, China is just chalking their central bank up with gold. And they're no longer holding US dollars. They're stockpiling gold. I mean, what's that tell you? But additionally, economic pressures related to the 2007-2008 financial crisis and panic and subsequent global recession have increased the likelihood that the dollar could lose its status as the world reserve currency. And you've got countries like China that are buying oil from Saudi Arabia as of January of 2012. And you've got countries like Iran that are buying or selling their oil to India for gold instead of US dollars. The reserve currency status of the US dollar is the petrodollar is essentially gone now, and that's a huge concern I have. So, as the size and structure of the global economy change, and international currency use may change as well. Despite evidence of the dollar's vitality, and it seems to be pretty strong, it keeps hanging in there, the currency's preeminence could diminish in the future. Indeed, historical precedent exists for the rise and fall of international status of currencies. Lyndon Goldberg, a vice president for the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, wrote in the study, and that study was just out, as I mentioned just a moment ago, 2007-2008. So domestic concerns could also imperil the dollar's value and prevalence of use. The trend began in 2012 in conservative-leaning legislatures around the United States to propose giving local governments permission to issue new currencies in the form of metal-based coins. States like Iowa and Tennessee, according to CNN Money, have begun deliberately printing bills or creating currency that would create the authority to mint alternatives to the dollar and pay off liabilities with these funds. Similarly, we talked about the U.S. Mint wanting to print a platinum trillion-dollar coin here just recently. So it's, even our government talks about it. But while currencies have historically evolved and changed over time, volatility in the value and use of the dollar could pose significant issues for investors. As such, those who have a stake in the global economy should undertake really close wealth preservation methods to protect their finances from potential turbulence. Interested folks should visit Great Wealth Strategies. Come check out my website and follow kind of what I'm doing. See what I'm doing personally. Like most folks know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a securities registered anybody. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm just regular Joe here, and explaining what I've done and some of the ways I've preserved my wealth and been able to control it is by using self-directed IRAs. I've got a webinar on my website for that. I use robotic trading software to take the emotion and the broker out of the market and let my Cool Trader Pro take care of making trades for me, either up or down. I use cash flow real estate. There's a variety of things out there, even insurance that with vertical stacking and insurance that pays high levels of dividends, as well as being able to utilize it with arbitrage and borrowing money. There's so many great things out there where you can preserve your wealth and get into assets. And can't wait to show you guys some photos and share some stuff. Just got information that my first oil well that I invested in, project down in Texas, has come through, and be looking to show you guys some checks and see how that plays out and see how that actually works once they show me the money, of course. But that's something we've not talked about, but something I worked on a lot last year and didn't want to share it until I was sure that we had a call for completion and things move forward. So thanks for joining us with Great Wealth Strategies. Look forward to talking to you soon. Feel free to reach out to me, email, and once again, share this, Twitter it, Facebook it, get it out there. Let's fill up everybody else's cup. Let's let them know what you and I know, because a lot of people are in the dark right now. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye-bye.